The human named Aaron had never expected that a single choice made during a routine planetary survey would change the course of two civilizations. He had been assigned to a diplomatic research crew whose task was simple: document new flora, record atmospheric patterns, avoid provoking the inhabitants of the newly contacted world. Among the crew, he was known as calm, steady, and curious, the kind of person who stopped to observe insects climbing branches or the way light reflected off unknown species of leaves. He had no military distinction or political purpose. He was just a surveyor with patience and a gentle way of looking at the world. The planet they had arrived on was called Naren by its inhabitants. It was the seat of a proud empire ruled by a queen whose authority reached across 3 neighboring star systems. She was known for her stern gaze, her strict decrees, and her refusal to entertain unnecessary negotiations with offworlders. Human diplomats had approached the throne twice before, and both attempts had lasted only minutes before her guards escorted them out. To her, humanity was curious but unproven, useful but untested, present but not yet worthy. Aaron had not expected to meet her. He had no reason to. His assignment focused on a lesser region far from the capital. Yet fate had its own paths, and it pulled him toward an encounter no one had imagined. He had wandered away from his research team only for a short time. A patch of glowing flowers had drawn him off the usual mapping route. Their petals shimmered like living embers. The air around them carried a faint warmth and a scent that reminded him of home forests where summer sunlight filtered through tall canopies. The flower he examined had a color between rose and flame, and it moved gently, even without wind. He touched it with care, half believing it would crumble, but instead it yielded softly like a warm pulse. Without thinking, he loosened it from its stem and lifted it to eye level. He had wanted to record its traits. That was all. Yet when he stood again, he noticed movement behind the trees and the soft ringing sound of ceremonial metal. When he turned, he saw figures approaching. Their armor had a crystalline finish, and their steps produced no tremor in the ground. They were royal guards, and at their center walked a figure who carried presence like a star carried light. The queen. Aaron froze. His breath tightened, but he forced himself not to step back. The queen approached with measured strides, her polished crest rising from the back of her head in a display of authority. Her eyes were sharp and discerning, each movement revealing layers of judgment. The guards parted, and she stood before him without speaking. Aaron realized in that instant that he held a flower from sacred ground. He had not known. He had not been warned. The glowing petals made his hands visible even in the dim shade. He thought she might declare him a trespasser, perhaps an intruder. He had heard stories of her decisiveness, and none portrayed her as lenient, but he refused to cower. Instead, he took a single breath steady enough to sharpen his mind. He lowered his hand, stepped forward, and extended the flower toward her as an offering. The forest seemed to still at that moment. Even the warm hum of the petals quieted, as if waiting. The queen blinked once, not in uncertainty, but in surprise. No one approached her without permission. No one stepped into her space with such quiet confidence. And certainly no one offered her something plucked from her own sacred land so gently. The guards tensed, expecting him to be seized. But the queen lifted her hand in a silent command, and they halted instantly. She looked at the flower, then at him again. Her gaze softened for the briefest instant before she reached out and accepted the glowing bloom. She held it carefully, as if it were a delicate star. Aaron bowed his head respectfully, but did not kneel. He did not avert his gaze entirely. He had been taught that kneeling before an alien monarch risked misinterpretation. Instead, he stood with quiet respect, waiting for her decision. The queen studied him for a long, silent moment. Finally, she spoke. "You offer this to me freely. He nodded. I found it beautiful. I thought it should be seen by someone who would understand it better than I do. His words were simple, honest. She heard no flattery in them, no manipulation, no calculated diplomacy, only sincerity. It struck her more deeply than any treaty proposal she had heard from human delegates. She drew closer. Her presence was warm yet commanding. You entered sacred land without permission. He did not flinch. Yes, I accept responsibility. I meant no harm. And you give me this flower, although you know it could be seen as a crime. It felt wrong to hide it. The queen breathed slowly. Her voice lowered into something almost private. You show courage. And you show truth. Silence fell again as she considered him more deeply. Her people valued strength above fear, honesty above caution. Offering a sacred blossom without trembling or pleading displayed both. She had judged thousands across her reign. Few impressed her. Even fewer surprised her. Yet this human standing before her with steady eyes had done both. She lifted the flower closer to her crest, letting its warmth illuminate her features. Then she spoke loud enough for her guards and the forest to hear. This human has shown sincerity. This human has shown honor. By ancient custom, such a gift marks intent of unity. Aaron blinked. He had no idea what she meant, but the guard stiffened as if witnessing something historic. The queen stepped to him. I accept. He stood still, unsure. Accept what? Her next words struck him like a bolt of light. You offered a symbol of bond. By our tradition, I declare you my partner. Aaron stared. His mind scrambled for meaning. The guards exchanged glances. No one had ever heard her declare such a thing, not even among her own people. It was a proclamation of deep alliance, a recognition of trust and shared path. It was not romantic by default, yet held a gravity equal to marital vows in some human cultures. Aaron found his voice. I did not know the meaning. I did not intend disrespect. There is no disrespect, only truth. You offered sincerity freely. I answer in kind. He swallowed. He needed clarity. What does being your partner mean? She held the flower between them. Its glow lit her expression with a warm crimson. It means you stand with me. It means your voice is honored beside mine. It means your well-being is bound to my protection. It means your origin does not matter. You are chosen. Aaron felt the weight of her words settle on him like a mantle. He had not come to join royal circles. He had not come to reshape alliances. Yet something about her presence and the warmth of the flower made him feel the gravity without fear. May I speak honestly? Yes. I cannot accept something without understanding its full meaning. Not yet. The guards inhaled sharply at his boldness. The queen, however, showed a faint curve of interest on her lips. You request knowledge before acceptance. That is worthy. She turned to her guards. Prepare a place for him in the honored chambers. He will walk the palace grounds. He will learn our customs. He will observe the role he is offered. Aaron felt his stomach tighten. I came with a crew. They will be informed you remain as a guest of the crown. Aaron nodded, knowing he had little choice, but trusting her intent. Though she was powerful, nothing in her words carried threat. Instead, it was expectation, an invitation wrapped in command. He followed her guards through the forest. Behind them, the queen continued to study the flower he had given her, as if measuring the path that lay ahead. The palace of Naren shimmered like carved light. Its walls were made of living stone that changed hue with the angle of the sun. The air carried a gentle vibration, as if the entire structure sang at a frequency only the planet understood. Aaron's chambers were more luxurious than anything he had known. The halls were guarded, but not confining. Servants attended to him with effortless grace. He asked for limited assistance and privacy whenever possible. and they respected it without hesitation. During the first day, he learned their history. The queen's lineage stretched across centuries. Their empire had known wars, triumphs, and uneasy peace. Their culture valued loyalty above status and commitment above convenience. A partner to the queen was not decoration. It was a position of deep responsibility. He spoke with diplomats, with scholars, with warriors who explained the ceremonial meaning of the sacred flower. Offering it to the queen was considered an act of complete trust. Accepting it in return was a pledge of unity. He realized the magnitude of what had happened. He had not just given her a gift. He had sparked a cultural exchange more powerful than any treaty. Still, the queen had not pressured him. Instead, she allowed him time to reflect. On the second day, she visited him. Her steps were quiet, yet carried authority. "You have learned." "Yes, and now you understand." "I understand that your acceptance was not symbolic. It was real. Do you regret offering the flower?" "No. I only regret not knowing its meaning then." She stepped closer, searching his expression. "And now, do you refuse the partnership?" Aaron looked at her. She held the glowing flower in her hand. Its warmth reflected against her skin. He remembered how she had halted her guards when they almost seized him, how her voice had softened when speaking to him, how she had honored his request for understanding. He felt no fear, only conviction. "I do not refuse." Her crest lifted slightly. "You accept." "I accept, but with one truth. I accept because of who you are, because you respected me, because you listened. I do not accept out of obligation." The queen's gaze deepened as if she had waited for those exact "whoa."